Welcome to This Is My Circus, the podcast where we embrace the chaos and keep it real about parenting, pop culture, true crime, and the books we can't put down.
Because let's be honest, life is one big circus, and we're just trying to survive with caffeine, sarcasm, and a little true crime obsession.
So if you love unfiltered conversation, questionable parenting hacks, and deep dives into the things that keep us up at night, you're in the right place.
Buckle up, grab your popcorn, and let's get into the chaos.
I'm Stephanie.
I'm Meredith.
And welcome to This Is My Circus.
Hey, Steph.
Hi.
It's a long time no talk.
Yeah.
It's good to see you.
You too.
I told you you're glowing.
Thank you. It's all the new skincare stuff that I
like
ordered
it.
off of TikTok shop.
Have you seen where they'll give you a video and they're like, this is the order you're supposed to do it in? I try to do them in the right order,
I never look at instructions.
but I never do them the same way twice. I'm always just like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
I didn't know that you were supposed to wet your face with the hyaluronic acid. And so for a week or two, I didn't do that. And then I saw somebody on TikTok.
You are?
Yeah, you're supposed to put it on a wet face and then it absorbs with the water, or else it'll pull all the moisture out of your skin.
Didn't know this either.
Yeah, I was like, these are important things you're supposed to tell us.
They are important things. Or how about, okay, I don't know, when you wear makeup, if you use like a blender brush. I know I lost you at like when I wear makeup.
Yeah,
we don't wear makeup much. But or the sponge, not the brush. You're supposed to wet those.
I didn't know that either until like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I know, all these.
I am not like a makeup person though.
Me neither. Me neither.
We're natural beauties.
100%. 100%. Not a stitch on today other than moisturizer and sunblock.
I just have mascara on.
I'm telling you, you're glowing. I'm going to get some of that stuff. Already looked it up and added to cart.
Yes. Wait, if you get a coupon, it's even better.
Yeah, well, it says something about a free gift, and you know that I'm a sucker for that too. So we'll see what they probably give you something stupid, but
It's gonna be like a scrunchie
why is a scrunchie always the free gift?
because it's like 20 cents.
I guess it's always a scrunchie, or sometimes like a claw clip.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of those.
No,
Um,
my hair is too thin for that.
yeah, they just, they wear them different now. They like twist
Upside
it
down. And
Yeah. Do you remember banana clips?
Yes.
Oh my God, I love the banana clip. I thought I had like a mane full of hair with a banana clip.
You were like a lion.
I felt like one. I felt like I had like a,
It was like My Little Pony.
pretty much, banana clips.
Oh, do you ever go back through like old photos
Oh
and
yeah.
see the horribleness of what we wore?
And just the fact that we thought we were amazing at that point.
Yes. Yeah. Well, so my sister's 6 years older than me, and
Mhm.
obviously everything that she did
Mhm.
me 6 years younger when I was in second, third grade, I wanted she was like so cool.
Right.
And so that was a time of like the really big 90s hair.
Mm.
It was like,
Oh yeah, like White Snake.
yeah, yeah. And so it's like
For the little kids that are listening, White Snake was a hairband. A hairband was just like a rock band. Okay.
so we second or third grade school picture, my hair is like
Huge.
teased and
Oh my gosh, that's great. That is great. I used to always try to do the shell looking things on the sides. And that's what we called them, shells or wings, or I think shells.
yeah, it's like the Farrah Fawcett look.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie's Angels.
I had a couple of other older cousins that were my older family that I thought were so cool. And one had a Trans Am, and I was like, oh. And we didn't see them a lot. But there was a little bit more than 6 year age difference. But when I saw them, and they were just the coolest of the cool. And here I am with my little nerdy self, like, oh, with my banana clip. But my banana clip, like, they would unpop.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
if you finally get the top clip, like the bottom would, man.
Yeah. Well, I saw like they were starting to make a little bit of a comeback
Oh, really?
on TikTok.
Okay.
It was some of the younger
Mhm.
kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, some things just shouldn't come back.
Right. It shouldn't.
It was cool at the time, but those things should not come back.
Man, they
From
were
our
great.
mistakes.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh, the banana clips. They were great.
No.
They were.
Well, they
That's what
were cool at the time,
Yeah.
but I just don't
No.
ever want to wear one again.
Agreed.
Oh, and those remember those headbands, like the squiggly?
Oh, yeah.
Those things hurt.
They did hurt.
And I wore them all the time, and they hurt my
They
head.
did. How about when you do your hair with like the little clips and like 20 little clips around?
I had butterflies, and so okay,
Yeah.
in high school, well, it was probably like ninth, 10th grade. I went to Florida to visit my grandparents, and a store there had these the clips that you put in like all over,
Yep.
but they were butterflies, and they had like moving wings. And so, like I had a whole head
Oh,
of
oh
them.
yeah, bobbling
Yeah.
around up there. I would do that, and at the time that that was popular, I was working, but I was working at the front desk of a doctor's office, like
Mhm.
taking insurance cards and doing all that kind of stuff. And I bet people walked in like, "What is this girl doing with all these light pink and teal
Yeah.
butterflies in her head?"
I was the same way. Same way.
Yeah, should stay extinct.
Mm.
Like the dire wolf, they're bringing that back though.
The who?
Oh my gosh, you haven't heard this?
No.
I know something you don't know.
Uh-huh.
Very rare does this happen. So the scientists have brought back something called the dire wolf.
So is this like in Jurassic Park when they brought back the dinosaurs?
Yes, absolutely. It is something that was extinct. It looks like a little husky puppy. I know, adorbs. But they've used DNA to bring it back, and they're trying to bring
I just took a DNA test.
they said they also want to bring back woolly mammoths. And I'm like, okay, that serves no point. Where are we going to put
We
them?
already got elephants. We're good. Side note, did you see that video I posted today on Facebook?
I hadn't had a chance to look. Tell me about it.
Okay, so it's this dude, and I don't know what country he's in, but he's got a cool accent. And he's in the woods, like at a pond, I'm assuming fishing or something.
Okay.
Out of the woods comes randomly a seal pup, right?
Uh-huh.
And he's like wobbling over. And the dude's like, stay back there, don't come any closer. And I'm like, no, I would
Right.
like
Snuggles his mama.
exactly 100%. And I was like, he's saying stay back, and I'm saying come here.
Right.
I would be cuddling with it. It would have a name, and I'd be Googling how to take care of a seal pup at home.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my gosh. So did it come closer to him?
It did. He's like, I'll wait here till your mom gets back. And I was
Oh,
like, I'm his mom.
right. I now identify as his mom.
Yes.
Okay, so you have to see these puppies.
So it's gonna be like a
3
giant.
feet. Oh, it's like, oh, maybe they're gonna do Twilight movie. What was that? Breaking
Yeah.
whatever with
Dawn.
Jacob. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
those things are big though.
Yeah, that was pretty big. But there've been a couple of funny things. Time out. You're going to have a heck of a time editing this because we are really all over the place. This
Yeah.
is how we do when
Yeah.
we haven't seen each other. People are saying, number one, I give it a week before people are trying to sell, like, they're called dire wolf, dire doodle puppies and stuff like that. They're cute though, aren't they? Little snowballs. Oh my gosh, that is adorable.
I know. I'm like such a sucker for
100%.
all of them.
All of them. I know. I know. So somebody local to us, I'm Facebook friends with her, don't really know her in person, but she rescued some possum babies. I don't know what happened to the mom, but I know.
I draw the line. Like,
I know, but if there's 8 little helpless babies,
yes, I know.
right,
But they are
they're hideous.
giant rats.
They are, and they like hiss. But she was like, "Y'all, I've been up every 2 hours. What am I supposed?" It's finally like, I guess a rescue came and took them. They're not cute. It's not like a raccoon with their little fingers. I'm also obsessed. We've talked about this before, otters, and I see a lot of videos right now. I guess it's
Oh,
and the mama's floating with the babies on their chest. Okay,
okay.
that makes our brains feel good.
Yes. It gave me my dopamine hit.
Yeah, I needed a hit of something.
A little stronger. So last week I was out of town and I was at the beach, and the craziest thing, I've got to show you the picture and
Okay.
I'll post it in our group or
Okay.
wherever. But I sent it to Dylan and I'm like, these crabs have got some explaining to do, because there was this random huge blue claw, like crab claw,
Mm-hmm.
and there was like 3 or 4 hermit crabs surrounding it. Like it wasn't attached to a crab, it was just the claw. So where did the claw come from? And then all the hermit crabs were like, so then, right, and I was taking a picture of it, And then I wish my video was going because one hermit crab jumped on the other hermit crab's shell and they took off running. And
That's crazy.
I was like, how did I not get that?
I know.
I
On
was
video,
so
yeah.
like, is this happening?
So they sacrificed the blue guy.
I don't. It was, and this crab had to be. I mean, obviously way bigger than.
The little hermit crabs.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my
Didn't see
goodness.
that. But
That's huge compared to them.
is that not wild?
That is crazy.
On the beach, it was like on a path
Yeah,
in like the little wooded area
that's kind of
behind the
crazy.
beach.
Like, they weren't trying to drag it anywhere. They were just
There were like
worshiping it.
there's a little one there,
Uh-huh.
and then the bigger one's on the other side.
It's like in the middle of their worship circle.
So
Maybe they're little witchy crabs.
weird. It was just like
That is weird.
it was, and it was just in the middle of the pathway.
Right.
It was so crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I let Jackson stay home from school Monday because he just had an exhausting weekend with different. They didn't get home from a track meet Friday till 2 a.m. 2 a.m. is what time I picked him up at the school. So he came downstairs on Monday and he was like, Mama, it is raining bad. And I was like, is it? Like, I didn't even hear.
Speaking of track meets,
Yes.
that awful incident in
My
Texas.
goodness, that is terrible, terrible, terrible. No matter what the truth is in that situation, it's terrible.
Both families' lives have
Forever changed.
Yes, I couldn't imagine being on either side of that.
No.
I believe we've talked about this before. I will stand by my kid 100%,
Mm-hmm.
but I also know when he messes up,
Mm-hmm.
and I would still support him and still love him, and there's nothing he could do in the entire world that would ever change that. These are my opinions.
Right.
I don't care what color skin you have.
Right.
I don't believe at school functions there is a place for any kind of weapon.
Right.
So that's scary.
It was very scary to hear of that and that whole situation. And have you ever been to a track meet?
Yes, I was on track when
You did?
Mhm.
What event did you do?
I did shot put, and then I
Look at you.
did, yes, and I trained with cross country, but I didn't do cross country.
Okay. Then you know how they're out of control.
Yeah.
There are so many kids and Jackson and I track meet last night, and I think it was 4 or 5 schools. Well, each school might have 3 coaches, and you've got 60 kids per school, and you're so outnumbered, and everything is spread out so far. It's not like football where everybody's right there, contained, because you've got different events everywhere. I've always said they're like free range chickens, no control.
Right.
And that's always been scary. I really liked when Jackson started doing Jack. When Jackson started doing track when he was in the 7th grade, because it's a very independent sport, his events, and it also made him accountable for paying attention to, they're calling my event, they're doing this. So I really liked that aspect of it. He's had great role models in the older ages because of how he's been raised in other sports he's done. He knows how to conduct himself in an environment like that.
I also think though that Jackson and Dylan both are more chill,
yes,
and mild-mannered than a lot of their
yes,
friends. I mean, I love all their friends,
absolutely,
but they're more,
they don't get riled up easy,
right, and they're more reserved. I feel like, don't get me wrong, my kid can go wild as well at points, but he is, I feel like, much more reserved. Not
he is,
reserved,
and now
but
I
just
get
chill, I
it.
guess.
He's not just bouncing on the walls all the time, and in an event like that, he's just going to see how it's going and play it by ear. One thing about Jackson that trips me out though, and I mean, let's be honest, I'm a talker. He gets it from me, but he talks to people like, not at first, he's not going up there like, hey buddy, you know, whatever, but like as they're standing around, I see him like talking to some of them and joking and laughing and trading snaps or whatever they do. But they both do carry themselves in a way that they're
more, I feel like more maybe not, mature is not, maybe mature, I don't know what the right word is.
Yeah.
And maybe it's their only children.
Probably.
And around adults more, I guess.
Yeah.
All 4 of us were wild. But there was 4 of us, and we were always either playing or fighting.
Yeah.
And there was always,
I just mentally pictured like a a ball of kids
It was
like
feral.
hustling all the time.
We were feral. My poor mother. But and there was four of us, so it was always two against two.
Uh-huh.
So you always had either somebody telling you that you were right
Uh-huh.
in the argument. That's why I said I'm always really good at arguing because I always had either somebody telling me I was right or I had a good sparring partner.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I can argue. I
Yeah.
should have been a lawyer.
That's great training.
Actually, I should not have
Or
ever be a lawyer.
no.
I'm too judgy.
You can be very selective with your clients. But circling back to the track meet
Yeah.
thing.
Oh gosh, sorry, squirrel.
No, this is what happens when we don't see each other.
Yes.
This is why we need to. It very, very tragic.
Yes.
Lives are changed no matter what the exact circumstances are. Bullies, not bullies, instigator, not, I don't care. Kids died and their lives are changed.
The police report was released.
Oh, was
The
it?
full police report. So I just took a couple of the notes. Again, 2 lives destroyed.
Right.
Both families destroyed. Regardless what side you are
Right.
leaning towards
Right.
of right, wrong, or whatever.
Right.
I don't have a side. I feel horrible for everybody involved. I feel horrible
Right.
that
Same.
a life was lost. I feel horrible that a 17-year-old's future
And I
is
feel,
destroyed.
all the people there that were impacted by this, the kids that were there that saw this happen, that witnessed this, the trauma from that, the parents that their kid, the
Everybody,
whole
yeah.
effect of it, it's traumatic.
I couldn't
Right.
imagine even just being a witness to it
Right.
would destroy me.
Right. So what did the police report?
A resource officer, I guess, heard on the radio or somebody called him or something,
Okay.
went to the area and a man pointed out Carmelo Anthony, who is the suspect. He walked over to Carmelo and told him to put his hands in the air, and without any questioning, Carmelo stated, "I was protecting myself." And a few minutes later, he said, quote, "He put his hands on me." The officer pats down Carmelo and does not find any weapons, and then said over the radio, "I have the alleged suspect." Carmelo said, without any questioning, nothing, he just said it, "I'm not the alleged suspect. I did it."
Okay.
I'm like,
Yeah.
zip it.
Yeah.
Like as a parent,
Absolutely.
I'm like, oh,
Right.
I'm sure nobody goes into it thinking that that's going to happen, whether you have a weapon or not. Like, no, I don't think anybody's prepared for the after effects. So I'm sure he was in shock. I'm sure he was freaking out.
Yeah.
So whatever. Another officer arrived and they take Carmelo to the squad car. The officer said, "Carmelo said again, he put his hands on me. I told him not to." Then it was reported that he asked the officers if what happened could be considered self-defense. And the officer says, "We don't know what happened." Like, they just left it at that.
See, and let me stop you. I have a hard time, not that I've really looked for any, but usually you hear of footage being released. The way kids have their phones out, why is there no video of this, anything related to this? Now, I do know at track meets they're, quote, not supposed to have their phones out, but come on now, they do. So I'm just shocked that we haven't seen anything of before, after, during, nothing.
Yeah, I agree. Once in the back of the car, he asked the officer if Austin would be okay. Witness statements from people that were under the tent, some of the kids that went to that school, said they were under the tent with everybody involved in this incident. Austin told Carmelo to get out of the tent, and then Carmelo reached into his bag and said, "Touch me and see what happens." Austin then goes and touches him. They had words. Carmelo then said a few minutes later, "Punch me and see what happens." Austin grabbed Carmelo to move him, and that's when Carmelo reached in his bag, pulled out the weapon, and stabbed Austin in the heart. Then he ran away. A second witness statement was extremely similar. Austin told Carmelo to get out from under the tent because he doesn't go to that school and was not supposed to be under that tent. And some back and forth yapping. Austin pushes Carmelo to get him out, and Carmelo reaches in his bag, grabs the weapon, and unalives him. My thing is, okay, so they go to different schools, right? And we both have athlete children, and we know, I don't know if they're rival schools or not.
Right.
But everybody played football. I don't know if everybody was on the track team or not, or if they were just there supporting their schools. I'm not, whatever. I didn't look that far into
I didn't
it.
either.
But if they're rival schools, and if they both play football, I'm sure they played each other. So you know that some of that
tension, history.
rivalry.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sense of like what is going, like how it could lead to this.
Right. So my 2 cents, I didn't mean to cut you
No, you're good.
My 2 cents are, I just said track meets, they're they're wild. They're crazy free range chickens. There's not really a lot of us and them in a track meet. Now, Jackson doesn't sit, quote, under the tents like some kids do because his events are elsewhere. And he doesn't really have a lot of sit down time because he's always participating just the way that his go. He's not waiting for the next thing. There is a lot of everybody talking to everybody, and especially so Jackson's a thrower. Most of the kids that throw are all football players, big linemen that like his position are similar. And so they know each other. They're kind of like I just said, they talk, they hang out. So I could see him walking with one of them to their tent for whatever reason while they get money to go to the concession stand, whatever, and sitting there. Like it's not like a us or them thing, unless this is different. I'm just going off of my experience, and I'm not saying anybody's wrong or right with where they sat. I don't know the backstory, but I don't see a problem with him sitting there. Unless there was that history that you're talking about that they could have.
Yeah, there's tons of different stories out there right now, and they all conflict with each other. So
right, everything from the twins were bullies to Carmelo wasn't even supposed to be at that track meet. He's not on the track team.
There's a story that he was suspended and he wasn't supposed to be there for that. It is whatever, whatever the reasons are. It's just such a tragedy. Everybody's lives are ruined.
I'm with you though. You have a weapon for a reason.
On a school grounds event.
And, one of the questions was, how did he get it in there? I heard people say that. Well, we go through metal detectors as spectators, but a lot of times the kids, the athletes that are coming in, they don't.
How hard is it to throw a freaking backpack over a fence? I'm sorry. Exactly. Like, I saw people doing it at Carowinds all the time.
Yep.
They were sneaking in alcohol or
all the
whatever.
Things. Yeah.
So I don't question it. Like when there's a will, there's a way.
Well, though, but people that are just so one-dimensional are like, how did he get that in there? Not everybody goes in the same way, just like you said, we have athlete sons. They come in the back entrance with the whole team and they carry their bags and their cleats and their whatevers. Like they're throwing them over the fences. There's ways that they're going to do it. So
I never even crossed my mind to question. I mean, I questioned why it was there in the first place.
Yeah.
But I never even thought, like, how did he get it in? Again, I don't have a side. I feel bad for everybody. I 100%. Don't believe, even if there was pushing or something, I don't believe the escalation to a knife to the heart is ever the answer.
That's something else that Brian and I talked about is that how did it go there immediately? And a couple of the articles that I read were talking about how teenagers don't have the ability to problem solve without jumping straight to like escalate. Yeah. Straight to some sort of violence or what, like, why wasn't there just a fist fight?
I don't see like our boys ever even considering going to that level.
Right.
I mean, Dylan, I'm sure would throw down.
Yeah.
But I don't see it. Like, I can't see that that's where his train of thought would go.
Right. It's very, very sad.
Yeah.
Very complicated, traumatic. Prayers for the families and the people.
Everybody involved.
Friends, family, witnesses, all of that.
So on a kind of lighter note, sort of. Have you heard about the TV show on Paramount Plus called Happy Face?
The Happy Face Killer?
It's about the Happy Face Killer, but it's a true story based on his daughter.
No, that sounds so good. Because I was looking for something new to watch.
Yeah.
And I just glanced, I saw Happy Face, and I assumed it was about him, but it's a different perspective.
Right. It's about the daughter because she found out when she was a teenager, like when he got arrested.
Okay.
Then her link back, like how did I miss this? But she didn't miss things that he kind of like shoot off, and she just let it go because it's her dad.
Right.
And now trying to make what she can make right.
Did you watch it?
There's only 5 episodes so far, I think. Like 4 or 5 episodes. It just got released.
Yeah, I just saw it. I was literally scrolling last night looking for something to watch.
It's really good.
Okay.
I like it.
I'll have to jump into that one.
Yeah.
So, good.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for something good to watch. We watched a movie. Oh, I picked the worst movies. I think it was called Red Right Hand. It started out okay. And then at the end, like, spoiler, everybody dies. You think, then this dude that's been shot in the chest like 6 times at the end of the movie driving a Jeep or something. I'm
Was
like,
it 50 Cent?
No. It actually had Orlando Bloom in it.
Oh, really?
And in my mind, he still looks like,
A pirate?
yes, he is a very seasoned pirate now. No, he has a weathered face now.
God,
Says the woman who's buying everything I can for my skin right now.
I'm trying to reverse that.
Oh, 100%. I think he's kind of leaning into it a little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's for the role.
Maybe, because he was like a mountain man.
Yeah.
Anyway, don't watch it.
I was never an Orlando Bloom fan. Like, I mean, I was not like obsessed with him like some people
No,
were.
no. There was one scene in the Pirates movie, and it was towards the end of one of them with the heart thing. And I remember it being like, oh, he's handsome. But like, then that thought
Yeah.
left. It was never really my type.
Mm-mm.
I'm a clean cut type kind of girl.
I can go either way.
Mm-hmm.
Like a rough,
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't want to say like thug, but I can go thug.
Is you can go
Little
thug.
street.
Yeah, I would,
I, I,
like, I was never attracted to, before I was married, and even still, but I never was into like dudes with really long hair or anything like that.
like no, and like grunge, like that's
Yeah,
not
no,
me. Goth was not, and,
right.
but like I could have gone from anywhere from a hot nerd to an athlete to
A thug,
yeah.
a street dude. Yeah, I mean, it is
But
what it is.
really, like I mean, like attracted wise, but
Yeah, yeah, no, but you're right. Long hair, goth.
other than like Sons of Anarchy,
Like,
Jax,
take this off. Don't put this on there.
Jax.
He's so beautiful. Is he in that Happy Face?
Mm-mm.
So he is in
Another one on Netflix.
About Him, though, right?
I believe
I
so.
think he
Yes.
plays him.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Hunnam is his name.
Yeah.
Please refer to me from here on out as Miss Meredith Hunnam.
My freaking God.
That is not why I named Jackson Jackson. So Brian and I have been watching that,
Mm-hmm.
and we're in, I think, the middle of season 5, and there's only 7,
Mm-hmm.
and it gets really heavy.
Yeah.
I can't get him back into it. I'm like, are you going to finish it? He was like, and he knows, like, he's the one who wants all the spoilers. He's like, did they die? What happens? And I'm like, yeah, they all die.
It was such a good
Mm-hmm.
series, but it was very heavy.
Very heavy.
And some of the stuff made me like queasy.
Uh-huh. A very good show, though. Very good series.
Yeah. Mm.
I need to get him to finish it. I don't like having it unfinished.
Yeah. Well, you've watched it before though, right?
2 or 3 times
Okay.
already.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll finish it by myself again.
Sure you will.
Oh.
Well, did you have anything else?
No.
You want to do Am I the A-hole?
Sure. We got a new one.
Mm-hmm.
Am I the a-hole for telling my neighbor I dated her husband? So let's start at the beginning. March 2025.
Uh-huh.
Very recent.
Yes.
Okay. Let's dig in. I, 33 female, became friendly with my neighbor, 37 female, let's call her Emily, after I helped her move a few boxes into our building while her husband, 35 male, was in the hospital.
She's a cougar.
I didn't meet Emily's husband until a few weeks later when she invited me over to dinner as thanks. When I arrived first, Emily's husband had run out to pick up some wine, but when he came back, I was shocked to see Matt, a guy I had gone on 3 dates with a year ago before he suddenly ghosted me. He had a terrible poker face and tried to pretend like he didn't recognize me. I don't play those games. I asked how long they'd been married, and Emily said 3 years. She recognized there was tension and asked if we knew each other. He said no. I said yes. And I told Emily that I had gone on dates with him a year ago. She became very upset and asked me to leave, which I did. The next day, Emily reached out and said she didn't appreciate that I lied about when I dated her husband. He told her we had dated 4 years ago before they were married. I didn't even live in this city 4 years ago. And even if we had dated 4 years ago, they had been engaged at that point. Either way, he would have been cheating. I sent her screenshots of our text from the year before and from Bumble of his profile, which was still active, exclamation point. She never responded, but when I saw her in the lobby yesterday, she wouldn't even look me in the eye. I don't know if they're still together, and Emily hasn't responded to my text. So am I the a-hole for telling her the truth?
No.
I don't think so either.
But how uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? Like, so that's a shock to her, right? Like to the wife.
Yeah.
So my initial thing would be like, give her some space and care.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, the husband obviously was trying to lie to her.
Yeah.
And at that point, I would be going through everything.
Oh, yeah. I definitely don't think she's the a-hole. I am actually proud of her if it happened like this for upfront being like, hey, yeah, we know each other. Not trying to be like, no,
Yeah.
way to be a girl's girl,
Yeah. Yeah.
to be upfront. Like, you don't owe
What would you
him
do in
or
that
anything.
situation?
I hope I would do the same thing.
I think I would be like so uncomfortable and I would make
Yeah.
up something to leave and then approach her not in front of him.
Yeah.
Because I think nobody has composure anymore and
Mhm.
I'd be afraid the dude would like totally lose it.
Flip. Yeah, I think I would probably make up an excuse to go,
Mhm.
to leave. And I would communicate with her on the side, like, hey, this is what happened. I don't know. I would be so shocked. I
Yeah.
don't know if I would know how to react.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that she didn't try to play it off and then come back.
Yeah.
She was just immediately like, there's tension.
I
This is
gotta
what's going
go.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-mm. Yeah, I mean it was good. That's you go for that.
yeah.
I don't think that one I would have the guts to do it in front
I
of
know.
him because I'd be afraid.
Retaliation or
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
And like you're living in the same building.
Right. And he knows where you live.
Yeah,
I wonder how they were just moving
it was,
in.
and they only had 3 dates, so I'm sure he wasn't at her
Yeah.
apartment or
Yeah.
anything. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
So the mini update is the
Okay.
next
Mini update. Emily.
half hour later.
Yeah. Half hour later.
So in my head, I just heard 3
hours
hours
later.
later.
Yeah. Emily just stopped by. We had a quick chat, but she let me know she's kicked Matt out and she thanked me for telling her the truth. She also found out that I was not the only person he had dated while they were married.
He's a dog.
Giving her space now, but wanted to share an update since it happened so quickly after posting. Good for her.
So now update is
3 days later.
Yeah.
A happy final update. Over the last few days, I've been hanging out with Emily along with her sister and 2 BFFs who flew in to support her. That's crazy. Help me bash him. I mean, is that what we're doing? I mean, whatever, girl power. Who knows? Okay.
There would be some alcohol flowing and some trash talking.
Yeah, that's true.
Let me tell you.
Well, it looks like that's what she
Yeah.
said. Tuesday night, she texted me, space is overrated. One question mark, and that was that.
Yeah.
Matt confessed to everything and more, and it was a lot worse than anyone thought, but this isn't about him anymore. We've all had some really good, sometimes difficult conversations, but it's been very cathartic and surprisingly positive. I found myself in the company of some pretty amazing women, which is why the situation has turned out the way it has. I moved to the city 2 years ago without knowing anyone, and it certainly wasn't an easy thing to tell someone that I'd hoped would be a friend. TBH, it kind of felt like word vomit in the moment. And when I first posted, admittedly, I wanted validation because there was a large and loudly nagging part of me that thought I'd done the wrong thing. So I'm very grateful to have come through what began as a really awful situation with 4 awesome new friends and far more laughs than tears. Emily, her sister, and I are now planning a bi-weekly brunch date, and we also discovered we have some other friends and interests in common. This post got far more attention than I've ever anticipated, so I did end up telling Emily about it. Her sister joked that we should start a podcast together, and we both shouted, "No! You can come on ours, though."
Yeah.
So this is both the end and a new beginning of this story. Thank you for the support and kind words for both me and Emily. We're going to be just fine. Signing off. That is a great
Ending.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, I got nothing to say. That's there. She's a bigger person than I am.
Same.
But I'm glad that she was so quickly able to realize that the dude was the jerk,
Yeah.
and she was, a victim. She wasn't looking for a married dude. So
Unlike other women.
So yeah, not the a-hole. I think you handled it well. Way better than I would have. I'm gonna say.
So instead of doing a book, so our non-bookies can stay, one of our listeners, and
So who was it? Was somebody that recommended?
it was Brittany.
Okay.
So Brittany was friends with Jamie.
Really? Okay, so this was recommended by Brittany.
Right. So this was, I feel like we had talked about this, that I was watching back during COVID, all these disappeared shows or
Right.
like people missing shows because I had gone through everything under the sun.
Yeah.
to watch. And anytime I hear Charlotte or like a town that is close by, my ears perk up.
Oh, absolutely.
And this was on an episode of Disappeared. And the name
Hmm.
stuck out because of Fraley, and Dylan's best friend's last name is Fraley.
Yeah.
So it all connected
Yeah.
for me.
Yes. Absolutely.
But they're not related. They spell it differently.
Hmm. Gotcha.
So Jamie Fraley was a 22-year-old woman from Gastonia, North Carolina, and she went missing April 8th, 2008. Okay. So, did you listen to any of the
I
podcasts or
did. I
okay.
listened to several, and I found another one or two that were outside of the ones that you had sent me,
Mhm.
just saying the same thing, but just wanted a different take on them.
Mhm.
There is so much
Wrong.
misinformation
Yeah.
or just inconsistent information.
All right. Well, let's get into the basics
Yep.
first.
Let's
Okay. And then we will go into the theories.
Yep.
So, some background. Jamie battled health issues from the time she came into this world. Doctors didn't believe that she was going to make it to one, but she was a fighter from the get-go.
Hmm.
And although she did have some health problems, as well as diagnosed with bipolar disorder and anxiety, which did keep her from being able to graduate high school and get a driver's license and stuff like that,
Yep.
she was still working towards her future.
Yes.
She wanted to be a substance abuse counselor, and she was attending college part-time. She did not have any substance abuse, but she lost several friends to substance
Yep.
abuse, and that's why.
I think one of the pods too said that her family had a history of it, and so she was it really touched her.
Mhm.
She wanted to help.
And her fiance and his
Hmm.
family. So, bringing us into that section of it, she had been in a relationship with Ricky Simmons Jr., who has a criminal history, and they were engaged.
Hmm.
The day before the disappearance, she had like a severe stomach flu, or what they thought was a stomach flu.
She had, I heard stomach pain and thought like cramping and stuff, but I guess she was diagnosed with stomach flu.
She went to the
She
hospital
went to the ER.
twice.
Yep.
So she went to the ER twice. They did give her medication, but the medication was not helping.
Hmm.
So early, like 1:30 in the morning, she was supposed to go back to the hospital. She had talked
Hmm.
to her mom. Her mom asked her if she wanted her to bring her. She said no. She had an appointment like really early the next morning
Yep.
with
Her caseworker, thank you. So she was meeting with them early, didn't want to miss that or mess that up because she was really trying to gain independence.
right. She was on the phone with her friend and
Hmm.
letting her know like she's going back to the hospital.
Hmm.
And her ride was there, and she said he was here in a truck.
Hmm.
So they believe it's a man
Yep.
that was supposed to take her, but that was the last anybody heard from her.
Hmm.
And she was poof gone.
Hmm.
Uh,
That's crazy in and of itself, just for her to be gone.
yeah.
Let's talk about her future father-in-law.
Oh.
So Ricky Jr. ended up having to serve some time.
hmm
And while he was doing that,
But it
she,
was not for violent crimes. It was for like theft,
yes, yes,
I believe.
yes, I think so too, which was related to his drug issues and, this cycle there. But
His dad.
yes, she ends up spending a lot of time with Ricky's dad, so Ricky Sr., who is the maintenance man at their apartment complex. They spent a lot of time together, and apparently, other people that had spent time with them were creeped out by the way he acted towards her in a skeevy way.
Right. I had the same note.
Did you?
I think I had like a creepy or something like
Something
that.
like
Yeah.
that. So he acted in not a fatherly way towards her.
No.
Yeah,
Gross.
100% gross.
Ew.
And what a bad situation to put her in. Like, she's just trying to.
Her, his son. I
Uh-huh.
mean,
I know.
it's all sorts of bad. And there was a lot of substance abuse
Hmm.
involved. There was a lot of, not with Jamie, but with
Just
the,
pretty much everybody else.
yeah. So we know that her fiance did not do it because he was in jail.
Right.
Rock solid alibi.
Yeah. Doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah. And Ricky Sr., the dad or the future father-in-law, did take her to the hospital the day
First time.
before.
Hmm.
So it's not out of the realm of possibilities that he would be taking her a
Yep.
second time.
Especially because, like you said, he did take her. They did spend time together. I mean, he was a consistent figure in her life that she would have asked to do that again.
Yeah.
So,
So when parents asked the police to go do a well check
Hmm.
in Jamie's apartment.
Yep.
Her purse was still there. Her
The
keys,
door was locked.
right, and the keys were still inside. The only thing that she had taken with her was her cell phone,
Yep.
which was found a week later
Hmm.
by a energy,
Lineman.
yeah. So it was ringing. He answered it, and they're like, "Who are you?" And he said he found the cell phone while he was working that day.
Yep.
So they go do a wellness check. Obviously, she's not there.
Right.
They don't immediately like freak out because
Hmm.
she's an adult. But the following day, the parents
Let's go back to what something else they found in
missing shoelaces.
the shoelaces.
Mhm.
That's crazy. So the shoelaces were missing, they said, from her favorite pair of shoes that she would never have taken these out for any reason. And these were the shoes she always wore unless she was in flip-flops. But the laces were missing. That is just boggling. I mean, we can all probably assume what was done with those, but it's just
But why not take the shoes with you? I mean, like,
right,
I don't.
right.
So much doesn't add up.
So it doesn't. But it's important that that door was locked.
It was locked, and because Ricky Senior was a maintenance
Yep.
man there, he had access to the keys
Mm-hmm. To
to
get in, to
relock
lock
it.
it.
Yeah,
Yep. All the
whatever.
things.
Okay, so they did like a phone analysis of like calls for the cell phone
Yep.
and saw that there was calls made around 5 a.m. But for whatever reason, they couldn't trace.
Oh, really? I didn't hear this part.
Yeah, they don't know if it was a burner phone or
Okay.
where the number, who the number belonged to. Could have been like a Google Voice type of
Okay.
number. I don't think apps were that big back then.
Yeah, they were not. Yeah.
So I don't think it was like a
Right.
WhatsApp or anything like
Right.
that. But they couldn't figure out who the number belonged to or who they were making calls to,
Yeah.
which leads me to believe, and this is just my theory, that if it was Ricky Sr., he was calling some of his unsavory friends to help dispose of
Yeah.
whatever happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we all know lots of burner phones
Right.
are in the community and which Ricky
Right.
was involved in.
Now, in your points there, that are we going to talk about some things we found out about Ricky Senior's history?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So persons of interest. So
Yep.
we have Ricky Sr.,
Hmm.
who is Jamie's neighbor and father-in-law, had a criminal record including past manslaughter conviction.
Right.
He strangled his ex-girlfriend
Right.
and served only 6 years for that.
So let's talk about that for a second.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's not an accident.
No.
That takes time.
Yeah.
And that is a very personal crime. Just remember that while we're talking about all of this. Like,
And the shoelaces.
and the freaking shoelaces. Okay, that's all. Like, to me, that's like the biggest red flag.
For sure.
Sorry, Captain Obvious over here.
And like he said before, he was known to be creepy with Jamie, flirting and acting
Mhm.
inappropriate. And let's also note that she was only 4'9" and 90
Right,
pounds.
right. She was teeny-tiny. She
She
was
was
a pocket person.
she was itty bitty.
Hmm.
I would look like a giant next to her, and that never happens.
Yeah, 4'9" is tiny.
Tiny. So let's see. He was among the last to see Jamie and was reportedly obsessed with her. He refused a polygraph test, but I don't really feel like that makes him guilty because everybody says never, ever, ever take the poly.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you look guilty, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, he didn't take the
yeah.
poly yet." But
I don't
any,
put any stock in that at
no,
all.
I don't either. So it was noted in a lot of the
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
So I noted it, but I don't really feel like that adds to
Right. I'm with you.
guilt.
I'm with
I
you.
wouldn't take one.
No, heck no.
I would, they would say, "Is your name Stephanie?" And it would probably come up as like, because I'd be so freaking nervous.
I know, agreed, agreed. And then I'd be like, in my mind thinking, okay, I know there's a way to beat this, so I have to answer it wrong when I'm really saying the right thing, and I'd get all turned around with what I'm supposed to do. So yeah, I'm not taking a polygraph.
No, never. So he was a person of interest, like the main person of
Yes,
interest, because
yes.
so many people told the police he was creepy. And he has a obvious record. So would you now like to get into the most current ex-girlfriend of Ricky Sr.?
Yes, but I also want it on the record, Your Honor, that
Because I'm so judgy.
I only heard this on one of the pods. The police department that was handling the case went under, and so all of their stuff got absorbed into like Gaston County sheriffs, because I guess it was being handled by Bessemer City.
Uh-huh.
And when it got absorbed, the case got absorbed back into a bigger Gaston County, they lost stuff.
Oof.
And I don't know the time frame with that, but
because the couple that I listened to said that they had three detectives
Mm.
on the case. They called in the FBI like
Hmm.
early.
And it's still open.
But it wasn't like, oh, well, she's an adult.
Right.
She can disappear if she wants.
Or she has she's an at-risk lifestyle
Right.
because of who she hangs out with and all that stuff. Yeah, they tried.
Yeah. So, would you like to tell the lovely story of the newest ex-girlfriend of Ricky
Oh,
Sr.?
sure. So she's driving around in her car, and how long was this after?
It was June of the same year.
Okay, so 3, 4 months after Jamie is missing, the ex of Ricky Senior's driving around in her car, and she's like, "Man, something." No.
Mm-mm. Not what I heard, not the recollections of what I heard.
Okay.
Her car got broken into and her purse or something got stolen out of her vehicle. And Ricky was found with the keys. Or the police
I
found
didn't hear that at all.
yeah. So like like a
Okay.
couple weeks before this, her purse was stolen.
Okay.
Obviously, she called the cops, and Ricky was found to have had the keys.
Okay.
So they couldn't pin the break-in, but he had the
Mm-hmm.
keys.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple weeks later, she was in her apartment. She went outside to go wherever, store,
Mm-hmm.
wherever, and that's when
Found him?
she went to her car, and it just smelled horrible. Like it was in June,
Right.
and a decomposing body because she didn't go out
Yeah.
till later in the day, is what
Okay.
this thing that I listened
So
to.
I heard, just to backtrack a little bit. So we're going off of these sources, so take it for what it's worth. I
Mhm.
mean, we haven't verified this stuff ourselves.
Right.
So she was driving around in her car, like you said, in June, started smelling this nasty smell. I didn't hear anything about that. I believe you, but I didn't hear anything about the purse. Drove around with it like that for a couple of days. And then she finally was like, I've got to figure out the smell. Like, I've done that. Like, I've been like, I picked up groceries. There's some chicken or something in here. Or when Jackson was little, there's a Go-Gurt in here somewhere, you know?
You leave your windows open when it rains.
Oh, yeah. 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 So, I mean, we've all been there at some point. But I think this smell would have been so much worse.
And that's why I tend to lean towards,
It not being a long time between
yeah,
when she noticed it to when she decided to.
check it.
Yeah. So she opens the trunk and she finds Ricky Sr.
Uh-huh.
Not alive.
Nope. With a weapon.
With a weapon. He had been there for a couple of days, they say. He definitely showed signs of decomp.
Yep.
Now, what did you hear as far as like what were the hypotheses for why he was?
Well, he was not happy about their breakup,
Yeah.
and he wanted to give her the scaring of a lifetime, or
Yeah.
I forgot the exact phrase.
Give her a lesson or give her something
yeah.
like something to that effect.
So it was he was in there to pop out when she opened the trunk
Mhm.
and scare the crap out of her. But the toxology report
Yep.
said that he had drugs and alcohol in his system when
So
he died.
much.
Yeah.
He could not even figure out how to like do the emergency escape in the trunk and get out.
Yeah, they think that he passed out and it's
Again,
June.
June, July in the South.
June,
I mean, it's
yeah,
hot.
it's at least 90.
Yeah.
And then
And that's not in the trunk.
no, it's
Right.
outside, yeah. So you're baking in that car.
Mm-hmm.
And he passed out, whether it's from substances or heat
yeah.
exhaustion, whatever, and died.
Yep.
To his own accord. But could you imagine? Oh my God.
No.
God. And then like my beauty thought was like, I didn't do this and they're gonna think I did this. It's always the significant other.
Right. Right. Yeah. That is so crazy to me. And of course she freaks out and she calls the law.
I would be like, do I call the police?
I know.
I'd be phoning a friend.
Do I call the police? What do I do? What do I do? Yeah, I'm with you 100%. But crazy and disgusting.
Yes.
I would not want that car back.
No, burn the car.
I'm with you.
So he's out. If he did it or if he knew anything with what was going on,
We know nothing.
it went with him. Again, he refused to take the polygraph, and so whatever. So the theories are obviously Ricky being involved.
Yep.
Hold on. 2015, a prison inmate claimed responsibility for Jamie's disappearance.
Right.
However,
This dude is an idiot.
why false confess is so stupid. He was incarcerated at the time.
Right. And I'm like, why would he do that? The only things that I could figure out was to just get more clout.
Yeah.
Like more street cred or whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That's another easily proven fact.
Yeah. He was in prison at the time of her disappearance. So what a dummy.
Yeah. Dumb.
So that was obviously not it. So let's go to theories and speculations.
Okay.
Obviously, Ricky Sr., given the proximity, criminal history, and
Mm-hmm.
reported obsession,
Mm-hmm.
many suspected his involvement.
Mm-hmm.
One of the podcasts, and I didn't even know, obviously, I didn't live around here during this time, but Danny Hembry,
Okay.
have you ever heard that name?
No.
I haven't either. Was a serial killer in Gastonia.
No.
Yeah. The podcast I listened to said that it was like in whatever newspaper or on the news or something that that they
That's way too close to home.
so the people that he was charged with and in prison for was in 2009. They were
Okay.
unalived. This happened in 2008.
8.
So it was very close. He was a in the drug scene, and Gastonia is a very
Wow.
small
It is.
town.
Yeah.
It's like 70,000, at that time it was 70,000
Yeah.
people. So it sounds like kind of big, but it's really not considering. And
Right.
and then you add in like the drug aspect. I'm sure
Right.
everybody in that
World.
kind of knew each other back then.
Yeah.
There wasn't like all the different ways to communicate
Right.
as much.
Right. There were locations and there were groups of
Right.
people. It wasn't, yes.
So this is like a side theory of
Okay.
somebody saying that did he picked her up, was like, hey, on the way, I'm going to pick up XYZ substance.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny Hembry was involved.
Wow. I didn't hear that. That's interesting though.
Mm-hmm.
He never admitted to anything though, did he?
No, he was convicted of 2 and he admitted to an additional 3, but was never convicted on those because there wasn't enough evidence to actually like take him to trial for him.
But he never did this one. That's what I don't get. Like, I told you I did these 5.
We'll watch Happy Face Killer.
Okay. That's gonna be my tonight's
There was
light
the
watch.
bonus.
Okay.
So yeah. So that was another like
Okay.
side theory. And then on Reddit, I found a Reddit thread about this.
Okay.
And this is just a side note about Ricky's family.
Mm-hmm.
A lady said that she knew the family very well,
Mhm.
and everybody in the family had substance abuse problems.
Okay.
Like all 3 kids and the
Mm.
father.
Mm-hmm.
And then the mother, I believe, died of AIDS.
Okay.
If what this woman said was correct, this is from
Mhm.
Reddit, and it's a
Mhm.
Reddit thread person.
Right.
So, but she said that she used to talk to Ricky's daughter, and this is
Mhm.
after he passed, and she would say, "Oh no, he wasn't involved," and then the very next thing she would say would contradict.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Is Ricky Jr. still alive? I didn't dig into that.
I don't know, but
I'm gonna look real quick.
but he did a bunch of different interviews. I
Did
don't know if
he?
he's alive today, but
I know when he got out, he did like a lot of searching. Like he went with her family and searched, and he was devastated.
well, could you imagine like for everybody suspects your dad. Your dad's a creep,
Right.
creeping on your fiance while you're locked up and possibly unalived her.
Yeah.
And then stupidly went in a trunk and unalived himself.
I mean, play dumb games, win dumb prizes.
So we have those 2 theories.
Yep. And then
Then-
the idiot case that was locked up, but he admitted to the crime, so he doesn't even count.
Yeah. And then obviously there's like because she was bipolar,
Yeah.
did she have a manic episode? Which I don't believe because if she was in so much pain from her stomach.
Right. Well, there's just too many other things that don't make sense.
Yeah.
The shoelaces is the huge one.
She didn't take her purse, she didn't take any belongings.
Right.
It was
Right.
her phone and that was it.
Yep.
And then, of course, it could have been like she thought her ride was there. She went outside and a totally random person,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Now, she did say he's here and something about the truck, but he did drive a van. And I do know people who call their big SUVs trucks.
Uh-huh.
So the podcasts do say that. They're like, some people call it a truck. That's true.
Yeah.
Some people, Brian does not. He's like, that's not a truck. A truck's a truck.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do call any type of big vehicle with like storage in the back a truck.
Right.
So that lines up with,
It
you
was
know,
the classic kidnapper van.
yeah, I want the white panel, 100%. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So still open case.
Yes.
Not closed, definitely cold. There are the theories, like you were saying, on what I know what I think.
I do too.
I think it was Ricky Sr.
Same. But if anybody happens to know anything,
Yep.
please contact the police.
Yep.
Her family is obviously devastated still, and So are her friends.
Yep, absolutely. So if you happen to have any information, be the Gaston County Police that you would contact,
Gaston.
not Gaston. If you know anything, let them know, because I can't imagine not having closure to something like that.
Oh my gosh.
But there have been, quote, sightings of her.
Oh, I didn't see that.
So somebody thought they saw her in Japan.
There's always sightings
I
of
know.
everybody. Like
But it's that whole doppelganger thing, like, is it really her or is it whatever? But somebody said, there was one other place they saw her, but somebody said they saw her in Japan with a group of women, and she made eye contact with this person and said, "Help me."
Maybe.
I know. Who knows?
Maybe.
So
Gastonia is a hub for trafficking.
I know, it's like one of the biggest. Isn't that crazy?
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
It's not. So hopefully, I don't know, they can figure that out. Oh, and there was human remains discovered. I don't remember exactly when, but it's been since then at pond in Gastonia that's not far from this. But they said it must have been recently, because they said it could take up to a year to identify the remains. I don't know if there's that much backlog or if that process just takes that long. To me, it's like,
take a DNA test.
Or x-rays of the mouth and then just run it through the big, huge computer systems we all use. So I don't know. They're still trying to find answers, and I hope they do.
Oof.
Yeah.
Prayers to the family, and hopefully one day there is some closure.
Something to help them heal. So next week, are we reading a book, or we want to do something else?
I totally forgot about even getting prepared for a book. It's up to you. What would you like to do? I'm going to leave that one up to you.
Oh, I kind of liked doing the documentary or listening to the pods. Do you have any that you want to talk about?
No.
You know what? There's been one I've been thinking about. Kyle Fleshman. See if there's any podcasts on him. There's a couple. Oh, there's a whole podcast called Missing in the Carolinas.
Oh.
Okay, you want to listen to this one?
Sure. All right, so next week, no book again, but we will do some discussion on, what's the guy's name?
His name is Kyle Fleischman. Fleischmann. And I remember when this happened, he went missing from the Charlotte area. So just another one that's close.
Yep.
And our people might know this guy. If you know Kyle, let us know.
Ooh,
or if you remember when this happened or anything, let us know.
Well, thank you guys for listening. Please like, share, tell your friends to listen, and we love you.
We love you. Thank you.
Leave us a review. 5 stars. Bye.
Bye. Don't let them argue with them, so you just say bye real fast, so they have to do it.
Yeah. That's my theory. All right, that wraps up another episode of This Is My Circus. If you survived this episode and somehow still like us, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, share it with your friends, or just send us caffeine.
And don't forget, you can join our VIP circus crew for the full video version of each episode. Also, exclusive bonus content, access to merch, and so much more.
Until next time, keep the drink strong, the books coming, and the kids only mildly feral.
Because this is our circus, and these are our monkeys.
Love ya!